Whew. Saying word. Good thing. Hmm. Hey guys, it's 1970 here, and welcome back to another deck profile. Um, so let's get this video started. Make sure you like the video, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Leave a comment down below, and ring the bell so you know when a new video comes out. Sorry, my voice is a little bit harsh still. So I'm gonna be showing you a deck profile on my werewolf deck. So here's my commander. Give me a second. It's Tovolar, Dire, Overlord. One of any color, one mountain, one force. It's a 3/3. The ability is whenever a wolf or a werewolf, you control deals combat damage to a player. Um, Draw a card. And then here's where day bound and night bound kind of comes in. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more wolves or werewolves, it becomes night. Then transform any number of human werewolves you control. Um, Also, they found I bought Asher. I find him. On the back side, his name is Tovolar, the Midnight Sorcerer. He's a 4/4. He has the same ability of whenever a wolf or a werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player's draw card. Hmm. And then he has the ability of pay X, one mountain, and one force. Target a wolf or werewolf you control gets plus X slash 0 plus 0 and gets and gains trample to the end of the turn. So more pumping up from the mana, the better. Okay. So here's how daybound works and nightbound works. If you don't know how this mechanic works. Daybound is um as it becomes day, transform all nightbounds to permanent. Transform all nightbound permanents. If a player casts no spell during their own turn, it becomes night the next day. And then, as it becomes night, transform all permanent day bounds. Then, permanent enter the battlefield on Nightbound. And if a player casts at least 2 spells during their turn, it becomes day the next day. Next turn. The next turn. Okay. So we're going to start off with the lands now. So first we got the specimens. So first we have Arc Lighthouse. Um, you can turn it for one to add to your mana pool, and then you can pay one. Turn this at until the end of your turn. Creatures your opponent control loses heck. Well, till the end of that turn. Let's say creatures your opponent control lose hexproof and shroud, and cannot gain hexproof or shroud. Well, cannot have hexproof or shroud, but you get what I mean. Next card is Turfing Bluff. What it does is Turfing Bluff enters the battlefield tap. When it enters the battlefield, I choose one other color than red, so I would usually choose forest. And then when you turn it, it adds red, one mountain, or one forest, because that would be the one that you chose as your other color. Um, if you choose blue, it would be one blue and one mountain, or one mountain. So you can choose either or. And then we got Ocus Palace. This produces one colorless mana into your mana pool. And then pay one of any color. Adds one colorless mana to your mana pool. Of one mana of any color and your commander's color identified. If this card is spent to cast your commander, it enters the battlefield with a number of additional +1/+1 counters on it equal to the number of times it's been cast from the command zone this game. So the more times you cast it from the command zone, the better for this card. Then we got Kissin Wolf Run. Turn this adds one mana to your mana pool, and then pay X, one mountain, one forest. It's basically the same effect as Tovolar. Target one creature gets plus X plus 0, and it gets trample to the end of the turn. Next, we got Patches of Agents. This enters the battlefield tapped. Then you can turn it, add any color in your commander's. Add one mana of any color your commander colors identified as. When that mana is spent as casting a creature that shares a creature type with your commander, scry one. Next, command power. Add in one mana of any color and identify your commander colors and vision. Identify him. Done that. And then we got Wham's Tower. You have no maximum hand size, and then you can add one mana to your mana. Now here's the lands that can count for mountain or forest. First we have Stomping Ground. Produces for one mountain or one forest. Um, When this enters the battlefield, you can pay 2 life. If you don't, it enters in tap. Next is Glacier, countering Glacier. You add 1 forest or 1 mountain, and then when this enters the battlefield, it enters in tap unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Next is Rootbound Cage. When it enters the battlefield, it enters in tap unless you control a mountain or forest. And then, of course, it produces for mountain or forest. Next is Raising Winds. I think so. I'm not entirely sure, right? This enters the battlefield tap as 1 forest or 1 mountain to your mana pool. And then you can pay 2 of any color plus 1 mountain and a forest. So at the end of the turn, Raising Ramp becomes a 3/3 red and green element creature with whenever this creature attacks, put a 1/1/1 counter on it. It's still land. And we got the last double land, which is Shattering Thickness. It produces 1 mountain or 1 forest, of course. And then you can cycle it, which means you can pay 2, discard this card, draw 1. And we go to our basic lands, with I won 15 forests. Let's spread out a little bit for you. And yeah, and now we're going to go for now Planeswalkers. Which first we got Garrett Collar the Beast. Has 4 loyalty. Costs 4 in color plus 2 force. He has 3 different abilities. His first one, +1, reveal top 5 cards of your library. Put all creatures revealed into your hand and place the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Minus him by 3. You may cast a green creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. So it lets you play a creature for kind of free. You still have to pay a little bit of a cost still. And then pay minus him by 7. You get an emblem with whenever you cast a creature spell, you may search your deck, search your library for a creature card and put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. So this gives you a free creature and you cast a creature spell. This is actually pretty good. I do not have his emblem. I do mean to get that later on. But I do have a one of my Planeswalker I'll be showing you soon. Next, we got Dolphins Cutler. She has 3 loyalty. She costs 2 of any color, plus 1 mountain, plus 1 force. She has 2 different abilities. Uh, plus 1. Till the end of your turn, up to 1 your target creature gets +2/+2, gains vigilance and haste. Page 0. Put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield. Then transform this card. And here's her transform one. Is Alvin's Embers by the Moon. Or Embers by the Moon, I'm gonna say. She has 3 different names that she does. +1, creatures you control gets +1/+1 and gains trample to the end phase. Monster by 1 deals 3 damage to a target creature or player, and then just transform back to the front side. And then minus it by 6, you get an emblem, which I do have this emblem. I'll show you in a second. With creatures you control have haste, and you can turn them to deal damage equal to their power to a target creature or player. And here's the emblem if you want to see it. Next, we got kind of something similar to the last Planeswalker, but a little bit different. It's Alphen the Pack Hope. Causes 2 of any color, plus 1 mountain and 1 force. Has 4 loyalty. It's also daybound and nightbound, so it also changes by those. Its +1 is until the end of your next, till the next, till your next turn, you may cast creatures spells as they had flash, and each creature you control enters the battlefield with additional +1/+1 counter on it. So all my creature spells I can be casting during my opponent's turn if I want it now. And then minus it by 3, create 2 green wolf tokens. Creature wolf tokens. And then its transform part is Alvin the Moon Fury. +2 gives you 1 forest and 1 mountain to add to your mana pool. And then +0 is till the end of turn, it becomes a 5/5 werewolf creature with trample, indestructible, and haste. Next, we're going to do my artifacts. So first we got Soul Ring. Turn this as 2 more mana to your mana pool. And then we have, so it costs 1 to play of any color. And then we have the Catalyst. Yeah. Costs 3 of any color to play. It's a designated artifact. If it's neither day nor night, it becomes day as it enters the battlefield. You can turn it to produce 1 mana of any color. Then you can pay 3 mana of any color. Turn this, it turns night, it becomes day, otherwise it becomes night, activating it as a sorcery. And then whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, you gain 1 life. You may draw 1 card. If you do, discard 1 card. So there's a little bit of a draw power too. And next we have my instants, which first is Moon Mist. Costs 1 at any color, plus 1 force. Transform all humans. Protect all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by creatures other than werewolves and wolves. So basically, this spell is kind of useless if you're versing against another person that's playing a werewolf deck. Is Waxing Moon. Pay 1 at any color and then 1 force. Transform up to 1 target werewolf you control. Creatures you control gain trample to the end phase. And then next is Throwing a Possibility. 1 at any color plus 1 mountain. At its addition of casting this spell, discard 1 card. And then you can draw 2. And then we got Chaos Warp. This is 1 card I don't know about keeping in this or not. I'm think they're just putting it in to tech it to test it out and stuff. Because but we'll see. 2 any color plus 1 mountain. The owner of target permanent shuffle it into his or her library, then reveals the top card of his or her library. If it's a permanent card, he or she put it into the battlefield. Next, we got my sorceries. First, we got Commandment of the Spirits. Costs 1 force. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an enchantment or a land card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. Then we got Ridiculous Root. 3 of any color plus 1 force. Search library for up to 2 basic lands and or gates. And then put them onto the battlefield tap. Then shuffle the library. Next we got Dominus Reese. 2 of any color plus 1 force. This card basically works like Cultivate, which I'm going to be summoning soon. Search the library for up to 2 basic lands, reveal with those cards, and put 1 card onto the battlefield, tap the other card into your hand, then shuffle the library. Here's Cultivate. Literally the exact same card, but different name. Pay 2 of any color, plus 1 force, and it has the same ability as searching your library for up to 2 basic lands. reveal them to your reveal those cards and put one onto the battlefield. Tap, and then put the other one into your hand. Then shuffle the library. It's literally the exact same card, but it was just made for more, adding more mana to your mana pool. Well, adding more lands to your mana, I should say. Next we have hunting wildness. Wilds. Three of any color, plus one force. It has a kicker, which is three of any color, plus one force. Two additional those on top. Here's what the Werewolf does. Search your library for up to 2 force cards and put them onto the battlefield tap. Then shuffle the library. If this spell was kicked, untap all forces put onto the battlefield this way. They become a 3/3 green creature with haste that are still lands. Two creatures for them. You do the kicker. Next we got Nature and Lure. Pay 1 any color, plus 1 force. Search your library for a forest card and put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle. Next we have Ghost Grown from the Ash. 2 of any color, plus 1 force. It has a kicker of pay 2 of any color. Search your library for a basic land and put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. If this card was kicked, instead of searching your library for 2 basic lands cards and then put them on the battlefield and then shuffle your library. So you get 2 instead of 1. And you do the kicker. We have explosion waves and vegetation, I should say, but costs 3 of any color plus 1 force. Search your library for up to 2 basic lands cards and put them onto the battlefield tap. Then shuffle the library. Next, we have some destructions in my deck. Here's the first one. Savaging Tornaces. Or Tornado. Causes X plus 1 mountain and 1 force. Deals X damage to each creature. So, pay as many as you want, after the X, after the mountain force, and that's how much damage you're going to be dealing to each creature. Next we have Flashing Stack. Causes 8 of any color plus 1 mountain. This spell casts 1 less to each creature on the battlefield. Flashing Attack deals 13 damage to each creature. And then we have Storm the Fest. Pay 3 of any color plus 3 force. Look at the top 5 cards of the library. Pick up to 2 permanent cards, with a mana cost of 5 or less among them, and put them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Then this has flashback for 7 of any color plus 3 force, so 10 mana. And then it will go to exile right after that. So let's you cast it again from the graveyard. That's what flashback means. Then we have Shaman we Revelation. Revelation. Don't think I'm saying that wrong. 3 of any color plus 2 fours. Draw a card for each creature you control. You gain 4 life for each creature you control with a power 4 or greater. Next is Fury of the Hordes. 5 of any color plus 2 mountains. You can remove 2 red cards in your hand from the game rather than paying the mana cost. So just remove 2 cards that cost for mountain from the game, but it is for free, kinda. Untap all creatures that attack this turn. After this main phase, there is a additional battle phase, followed by a additional main phase. And then the last sorcery is Unnaturally Moonrise. 1 mountain and 1 forest. It becomes night until the end of the turn. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains trample. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw 1 card. Then you can flash it back for 2 of any color plus 1 mountain and 1 forest from the graveyard. Next, we got my enchantments. First, we have Wire, Wildness, Wilderness Reclamation. Pay 3 of any color plus 1 force. At the beginning of your end step, untap all your lands you control. And then we have Howling Pack Regens. Rejects. No, it's not Regens. Costs 2 of any color, plus 1 force. It has flash, so I can cast it during my opponent's turns, or during my turn at any time. Each creature you control that's a wolf or a werewolf gets +1/+1 and has trample. Next is Full Moon Rise. Pay 1 of any color plus 1 force. Werewolves you control gets +1/+0 and have trample. Sacrifice this card. Regenerate all werewolf creatures you control. So basically, if someone chooses to blow up your field, you can say them was this card. Next is Chrysalis Root. 1 in color, +1 force. Creatures you control, turn, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Next we have Glorious Sunwise. 3 of any color, plus 2 force. Oh, did you want to know? Alright, starting on my enchantments now. Card. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose 1. Creatures you control gets +1/+1 and gains trample to the end phase. Target land gains turns it for 3/4 until the end of the turn. Draw one card if you control a creature with 3 power or more, and then you can gain 3 life. So as you get one of them during your combat. Next we have Winding of the Wild. One of any color plus 1 mountain and 1 forest. Creature spells you control cannot be countered, so your opponent cannot negate them. Non-token creatures you control have wadding, which wadding means they enters the battlefield with a choice of +1/+1 counter or gets haste. And then my last enchantment is Guardian Project. 3 of any color plus 1 force, and then whenever a non-creature token enters the battlefield under your control, if it doesn't have the same name as a creature you control or in your graveyard, draw 1 card. And all of those. Now we got the creatures. But first, I'm going to start with my wolves. Well, no, I'm not going to start with the wolves first. First, we're going to start with this. Cut this of the waxing moon. It's one of the wolf makers. Costs 4 of any color plus 1 force. It's a 5/4. Whenever a permanent neutral transforms into a non-human creature, put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield. So, yeah. And next we have my wolves. So first we have Howling Wind Aids. Overlord. Or any color plus 2 fours. It's a 4/4. It has flash, so it can cast at any time. At the beginning of your upkeep, for each creature you control that's a wolf or a werewolf, create a 2/2 green wolf token. So it counts itself, so you can make so many wolf tokens with them. Next we have Formation Advanced Secrets. 2 of any color plus 1 force is a 4/3. Scramble. When it enters the battlefield, you may pay 1 of any color plus 1 force any number of times when you cast this card. When you pay that cost, 1 or more. Put that many +1/+1 counters on it. Then up to that many target lands you control become 3/3 wolf creatures with haste that are still counted as lands. Also, it's a 4/3 if I forgot to mention that. And then we have Emery Wolf. It's a 2/2, 1 of any color plus 1 mountain and 1 force. It has imitation, or this creature can't be walked except by artifact creatures and or creatures that shares the same card with it. Other wolves and werewolves you control gets +1/+1. Non-human werewolves you control can transform. So basically, it keeps all my werewolves from turning back into their human side. Next, we have Night Pack Outwish. I think I cannot read that right now. Sorry. Is two of any cutter plus two fours. It's a 4/4. It has flash, so I can cast it at any time. Other werewolves and wolves you control gets +1/+1. At the at the beginning of your end step, if you cast no spells this turn, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. And here's my last wolf is Rootbound Wolf. Causes one of any color plus one mountain. It's a 2/2. Its ability is three of any color plus one mountain. Then you can turn it. Deals damage to well, yeah, deals damage equal to the number of wolf and werewolves you control to a target opponent. So let's say you have 8 werewolves and werewolves combined, count itself. You deal 8 damage to that person. Next, we're going to go over our werewolves. So first, we're going to go over the old ones. And the new ones. So all the old ones have a different text of it because they did not have day bound, night bound thing. So here's the first one. We have Moondire Shaman. It costs 3 of any color plus 1 mountain. Is a 3/2. At the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast this turn, transform this card. And then on the backside is Tovolar Mage Hunter. So this is the only weird Tovolar one because it's Tovolar on the backside, but it's not Tovolar on the front side. So I don't exactly get that all. Unless it has become Tovolar when turning into werewolf form, but still don't get that a little bit. I don't know the legends of the creatures and stuff, magic. It's a 5/5. Um, Whenever an opponent casts a spell, deals 2 damage to a player. Well, to them. So yeah, to that player. I want to say. Not bad. So be careful if you cast a spell around her. And then at the beginning of each upkeep, if at least 2 spells were cast last turn, transform it to its other state. And that's for all the old ones. So there's a little bit of a different text and down, but not by much. Next we have Mayor. Oh, also that was a werewolf song. We have Mayor of Alfback is 1 in cutter plus 1 force. So 1/1. Other humans you control gets +1/+1. Then it has nothing else on front. Also, it's a human Vengeance or or Avenge or Werewolf. And then Backside it is Howling Pack Alpha. Other wolves, werewolves, and wolves you control gets +1/+1 counters. At the beginning of your end step, put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield. Also, it's the 3/3. Next one is Dustwasher Recycle. Costs 1 of any color, +1 force. Is a 2/2. Costs 2 of any color, +1 force. Look at the top 3 cards of the library. Reveal one creature among them and put it into your hand. Then put the rest on the bottom of the library in the order. And then on the back side it is also this is a human warrior werewolf. And then it's Cutlass Howler. It's a 3/3. Creature spells you cast costs 1 less to play. Well, costs 1 less now. So all my creature spells costs 1 less now. Next we have Shades of the Ancient Lore. 4 of any color, +1 force. Is a cumin shaman werewolf. Its power and toughness are for each equal to the number of cards in your hand. So you have 7 cards in hand, it's a 7/7. And then when this enters the battlefield, draw 1 card. And then on the back side, it's Werewolf of Ancient Hunger. It has Vigilance and Trample. Whenever werewolves, well, this card's power and toughness are each power are each equal to the total number of cards in all players' hands now. So let's say you're playing as 4 people, 4 times 7, 28, so it becomes 28/28. Is Cutlet Outlaw. Costs 1 in color, +2 mountains. It's a 2/2 and has first strike. Also is Cumin Road Werewolf. And then on the backside, it's Terrifying of the Cutlass Pass. It has double strike. It's a 3/3. Each werewolf you control can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures, so all of them gain menace, basically. Next is Daybreak Ranger. It's a 2/2. Human Archer Werewolf. You can turn this, deal 2 damage to a target creature with flying. Also, it costs 2 colorless, 2 mana of any color +1 force. I'm about to say that, my bad. And then on the backside is Nightfall Protector. It's a 4/4. Pay 1 mountain, then turn it, fights a target creature. Next is Garrus Reacher Bandit. Crosses 2 of any color plus 1 mountain. It has haste. It's a 3/2. It's a cumin road um, werewolf. And then on the backside, it's vegetation pack alpha. It's a 4/3. Whenever a werewolf enters the battlefield under your control, you may transform it. So it's another way to transform old werewolves into their werewolf state. Pretty sure I said it's a 4/3. Next is Lamb Herd Elder. 2 of any color plus 1 force. It's a 1/2. It doesn't have any other abilities on the front. On the back is several silver pelt werewolf. It's a 4/5. Whenever it deals combat damage to an opponent, well, to a player, I'm going to say to that. Draw a card. Next is Artifact Disruptor. Uh, Designator, whatever you want to call it. 3 of any color plus 1 mountain. It's a 3/2. It has no order special abilities on the front, except for transformation. And then on the back is Werewolf Recenter, or Soccer, as they say. A 5/4. Whenever it transforms into this, target may destroy a target artifact. If that artifact is put into the graveyard this way, Werewolf this deals 3 damage to the controller of the artifact. So it's another great way to get rid of artifacts. And next is Huntmaster of the Fallen. 2 of any color, plus 1 mountain and 1 force. It's a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield or transforms into itself, put a 2/2 green wolf creature onto the battlefield, and then you gain 2 life. So it's a way to gain back life points a little bit. And then on the backside, it's Revenger of the Fallen. It has Trample. It's a 4/4. Whenever this card transforms into this form, deal 2 damage to a target opponent and 2 damage up to 1 target creature that they control. Well, that player controls, but you get what I mean. Next, which is the final one, the old one, is unleashing, not unleashing, unleashing of the Cutlass Horror. The 4/4. Whenever this creature enters the battlefield or transforms into himself, target creature gets +4/+4 to the end of the turn. And then on the back state is least risk unconstantly. No, is it unconstant alpha? It's a 6/6. Whenever it transforms into this, you may bite a target non-werewolf creatures you don't control. So they made that by werewolf control. And then next we're going with the day down night creatures. They're almost exact but I think I have some more new ones and old ones. So first is Investor Explorer. Four of any color, plus one force. Whenever this enters the battlefield or attacks, creates a 1/1 green insect creature token. Um, and these are all the day bound, night bound ones I'm showing you. So yeah. It's a 3/4, and then on the back side, Infested Werewolf. It's a 4/5. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacked, create two 1/1 green insect tokens. Next is Alpha Back Caretaker. Causes 4 of any color plus 2 fours. It's a 4/4, has hexproof. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, put 2 +1/+1 counters on a target creature you control. And then on the night side is Howling Heads Age Huntsmash, not bad. It's a 6/6, has hexproof. Other permanents you control have hexproofs. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, put 2 +1/+1 counter on each of your creatures you control. So this puts it on all creatures you control instead of just one creature on the back side. Next is Vigilance Astrolus. 3 of any color plus 2 mountains. Has menace and haste. It's a 4/4. Whenever this card attacks, it deals 1 damage to each up to the 1 target creature, up to 1 target player, and over up to 1 target planeswalker. And then on the back side, Dire Satan or Azurus. It's a 5/5 menace and haste. When it attacks, basically does the same thing, but it deals 2 to up to 1 target creature, target planeswalker, and or target player. Next is Hound Trainer. It's 2 of any color, plus 1 force. It's a 3/3. Has trample. Pay 3 of any color, plus 1 force. Put a +1/+1 counter on the target creature. And then on the back side, Untaming Pup. Done by. Has trample. Is a 4/4. Other werewolves and wolves you control have trample. Then it has the same ability that I did on one side of paying 3 of any color, +1 force, put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature. Next is I Temping Loner. 2 of any color, +2 mountains. It's a 3/3. Whenever is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target. Then pay 1 red mana and 1 of any color. Gets +2/+0 to the end of the turn. Now on the back side is Howling Pack Avenger. It's a 4/4. Whenever a permanent you control is dealt damage, deals that much damage to any target. And then has the ability of 1 to any color +1 mountain. Gets +2/+0 to the end of the turn. Next is Buildish Washer. And it's a cumin soldier werewolf. It's a 4/3. Pay 2 of any color, +1 mountain. Deals 1 damage to any target. And then on the back is Buildish Wild. No. Wielder. Yeah. I think it's Wielder. Yeah. It's a 5/5. 2 of any color, +1 mountain. Deals 1 damage to any target. Creature dealt damage this way can't walk this turn. So it stops your opponent's creature from walking this turn if you deal damage to them. Next is Bill's Washer. Well, Bill's Wash. It's a 4/3, has haste, and costs 4 of any color +1 mountain. And now on the back side, it's Bill's Revenger. It's a 5/4. Werewolves and wolves you control have haste, so it gives everything haste on the backside, basically. Next is Paint War, Spell War Painter. I'm sorry, not bad. 2 of any color +1 mountain. It's a 2/3. Cumin Shaman Werewolf. Whenever a spell, whenever instant or sorcery spell is cast, it gets +1/+1 to the end of the turn. Then on the back side, Spell War Howard. It's a 3/4. Basically has the same effect, but whenever instant or sorcery spell is cast, gets +2/+2 instead of +1/+1 to the end turn. This is one card I might be taking out of this deck. I don't know yet, but it's a maybe for this creature still for me. I need to think on it. Next we have Outland Liberator. It's a 1 any color +1 force. It's a 2/2. It's one of my destroyers for Um, my bonus stuff. Pay one of any color, sacrifice it, destroy a target artifact or enchantment. And then on the back side is freezing. No wait, freezing the trap breaker. It's a 3/3. It has the same ability as on the front side of paying one of any color and then sacrificing it. So artifact or enchantment. And then when this card attacks, target destroy a player. No wait, 10 died. Destroy a target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. Next is Cutlass Natureless. Classes for one mountain and one force. It's a 2/2. Whenever this attacks, adds one mountain or one force to your mana pool till the end of the turn. You don't lose this mana as a step and phase ends. Then on the front, backside template. Lord of the Unraising Ward is a 3/3. Other wolves and werewolves you control gets +1/+1, and then it has the same ability. When it attacks, you gain a mountain or force at the end of the turn. Next is Howling Pack Piper. 3 of any color +1 force. It's a 2/2. This spell cannot be countered, so your opponent cannot negate you from playing it. Causes 1 force and 1 any color. Turn this creature. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. If it's a wolf or a werewolf, untap it and activate it as a sorcery. So basically, it lets you play your werewolves for 2 mana, usually for a bunch, for the big ones. And then on the backside, Wild Song Howler. It's a 4/4. Whenever this enters the battlefield or transforms into this, it's at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Next is Waiver of Boomness, let's say. That 2 of any color +1 force. It's a 2/3. You can turn it as 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Then on the backside, Boomness Clan Werewolf. 3/4. You can turn it as 2 mana of any color to your mana pool. Yeah, 2 mana of any one color, I'm going to say, to your mana pool. Next, we have Lambert Regenter. Costs 3 of any color +1 mountain. It's a 2/4. Whenever a non-creature spell is cast, deal 1 damage to each of your opponents. Then on the back side is Nim Hurts. Nim Hurts. Avenger. 4/4. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. Next card is Silo the Pack. 2 of any color plus 1 mountain and 1 forest. It's a 2/5. 2 of any color plus 1 mountain and a forest. Create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. And then on the back is Savage Pack Mate. It's a 5/5, has trample. Other creatures you control gets +1/+0. And then the last one is Tovolar Master Hunter. Not Hunt Master, mistake, done that. 4 of any color plus 2 force. It's a 6/6. Whenever this enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. Then on the back side is Tovolar Pack Leader. It's a 7/7. Whenever this enters the battlefield or attacks, create a 2/2 green wolf token. And then you can pay 2 of any color plus 2 force. Another target wolf or werewolf you control bites a target creature you don't control. And that's the last of the creatures. So that's basically the deck. The things I do want to add to this is Blood Moon, and I think it's Double Chasing, but I'm not exactly sure. It's the card that lets you multiply your tokens when let's say you cast 1 token, it would be 2 tokens instead when they get played. Um, Other than that, I might upgrade it with more better cards that let me get more lands onto the battlefield, but I'm not exactly sure on that. I don't know what else I would upgrade it right now with. I'll find that out later on. And if I improve it enough in a couple of years, I might do an update on this deck. But I don't know by right now, so we'll see. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Um, it's a decent werewolf deck. If you guys want to build it, you can. It costs like it's not the most cheapest deck, but it's not the most expensive deck to play. So it's like mid range of caution for you. If you want to get it. Other than that, if you want to play with it for tournaments or regionals, or you want to do your own list for werewolves, and I encourage you to do that. You have fun with that. Werewolves is always a fun deck to play. Um, Other than that, nothing else to say. So I guess I'll see you guys later. Peace. This is 1917 signing off. Bye, guys.